Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Mallard Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. Party officials have their work cut out for them getting Hoosier voters to turn out.
What we know is that Indiana is not high. We're mid-level and lower in both registration rates and in turnout rates.
As lawmakers gear up for next year's legislative session, we talked to Statehouse reporter Brandon Smith about what to expect from legislators next year. And the Affordable Care Act brought reliable insurance coverage for millions of Americans. But it's harder for folks in some areas to get the coverage they need.
That was our biggest fear. We didn't know, because the next year was supposed to jump again. And I told my wife, I don't even know how we're going to afford this.
Ahead, the challenges of healthcare in rural areas. Those stories, plus the latest news headlines from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk.
Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Well, state leaders are getting ready for the 2020 legislative session by meeting to talk about their priorities for next year. They gathered this week to discuss school funding, gambling, as well as hemp and CBD. With us to talk about that, and Todd Houston, who was chosen this week to step into current Speaker Brian Bosma's role when he leaves next year, is our State House reporter Brandon Smith. Brandon, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Joe.
So first, tell us about the role the new Speaker-elect Todd Houston will play in this year's legislative session.
Yeah, this is a bit of an unusual situation where you have the GOP caucus Monday this week chose Todd Houston to be the next Speaker of the House, but he'll be serving in this Speaker-elect role alongside the current Speaker, Brian Bosma, during the session, kind of learning on the job. My personal guess is we won't actually see Houston doing a lot of that because much of what he needs to learn happens behind the scenes as opposed to that forward-facing role. And then he'll become the official Speaker of the House towards the end of session when Brian Bosma officially steps down.
Of course, Brian Bosma, the longest-serving Speaker of the House. Is Houston up to the job of filling those shoes, or what are people talking about there?
Well, that's not for me to say. They are certainly big shoes to fill. One thing Houston noted is that he comes into the speakership with less legislative experience than Brian Bosma had when he first became Speaker all the way back in 2005. So that Houston talked about how he'll be leaning a lot more on his leadership team as he's making decisions than necessarily Bosma has the last several years.
So switching gear just a little, lawmakers met this week to lay out their legislative priorities for 2020. What will we see coming out of the State House next year?
I think maybe the biggest topic will be education. Right off the bat, lawmakers of both parties, the governor, all agree that teachers and schools should be what's called held harmless as a result of from a precipitous drop in standardized test scores this year. Expect to see that happen almost immediately. That's a bill that they'll probably fast track through the process. Beyond that, we might see some changes to teacher accountability and licensing rules. And then there are some healthcare issues that the legislature will try to tackle in 2020.
Of course, a lot going on. What issues should we be paying close attention to as the session unfolds?
Well, I think one of the most interesting battles you might see in the 2020 session is over a proposal to raise the minimum age at which you can buy and smoke cigarettes and vaping products from 18 to 21. Now, healthcare organizations, the Indiana Chamber of Commerce notably, have been pushing for that for several years, but it's never gotten much traction. But this time is a little different because Speaker Brian Bosma has announced that he's going to personally support it. He thinks the vast majority of his caucus will, and so that could be what pushes this over the edge after several years of unsuccessful attempts.
All right, and Brandon, of course, you'll be there with more this coming year, I hope.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Well, experts say the 2020 primary election may exceed record-breaking voter turnout numbers seen in 2018. But the turnout rates in Indiana are historically low. Adam Pinsker tells us it's not because voters aren't interested.
While many people are focused on the holidays, Hoosier political pundits and candidates are already gearing up for the 2020 election. Monroe County Republican Party Chair William Ellis is trying to get a jump start, meeting voters in person.
So the outreach is right now more of a personal going to each Republican.
But recent history shows getting those Hoosiers into the voting booths for primary elections is an uphill battle. In 2016, only about a third of almost 4.7 million registered Hoosiers voted in the primary. That number increased in the 2016 general election to a little more than half. The numbers dipped dramatically in the 2018 primary, with only 18% of registered voters casting ballots statewide. But as with most midterm elections, there was record-breaking turnout for the general election. Just more than 2.3 million people cast ballots in the 2018 midterm statewide, more than half of the 4.5 million registered voters. Monroe County Election Supervisor Karen Wheeler says voter turnout in 2018 was so brisk, the county ran out of ballots.
We had some precincts that literally voted 80%. That is unheard of in a midterm.
But even with an impressive showing in 2018, turnout is lukewarm more often than not.
What we know is that Indiana is not high. We're mid-level and lower in both registration rates and in turnout rates.
Director of the nonpartisan Mike Downs Center for Indiana Politics, Andrew Downs, says there are a variety of reasons for the low numbers. Among them, Indiana is a closed primary state, meaning voters can only vote in their own party's primary. And Downs says the state was among the first in the nation to offer voter registration online.
So what political campaigns often do is look to the pool of voters who show up regularly. And they ask themselves, of this pool of voters, can I win? And if I can, then am I even incentivized to go out and find new voters?
He says even though Hoosiers may be fickle at the polls, they are consistent. Since 1932, only 3 Democratic presidential nominees have won the state, most recently President Obama 11 years ago.
If the other races on the ticket, governor, member of the Indiana House, member of the Indiana Senate, if yours is up, and even local races, if those races are not exciting, then we could actually look at kind of a low turnout.
But Downs says even if voters aren't excited about local races, President Trump being at the top of the ticket will continue to drive turnout on both sides, causing polarization among voters at the local level, something that Ellis says distracts from the real issues affecting voters.
If the voters want polarization, we've got candidates out there for it, at the national level. What's going to start happening is we're going to start having to have polarizing candidates locally.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Adam Pinsker.
Now for headlines, we check out the latest on this week's top stories. Purdue University President Mitch Daniels is apologizing for a comment in which he called African American scholars, in his words, rare creatures. The NAACP had earlier sent a letter to Daniels requesting an apology for his comments, which the president claimed had been misunderstood. The Indiana State Board of Education voted unanimously this week to postpone a decision about state funding for some life skills classes. The courses facing cuts teach adult skills like personal finance, nutrition, and child development. A lobbyist for the Indiana State Teachers Association says removing state funding for those courses will hurt Hoosier students.
Students will be hit the hardest by this, in the sense that they will be deprived of important course opportunities, diminishing the most basic purpose of public education, which is to create well-rounded citizens.
State Superintendent Jennifer McCormick has also criticized the plan, although she sits on the governor's workforce cabinet, which unanimously approved it in October. McCormick says she voted in favor of it then because it came in a package of recommendations, many of which she agreed with. State Board of Education staff plan to schedule a special session to consider career and technical education funding levels before January. Owen County representatives say they expect to have a revised festival ordinance ready by the county commissioners' next meeting. The item was not officially on the agenda, but was requested by a resident concerned about morals related to the Spencer Pride event. One resident asked the commissioners to think about the effects the ordinance could have on the area.
Often, things have unintended consequences, and I think this ordinance is one of them. I don't think we should pass it.
The commissioners did not have the proposed festival ordinance on the agenda this week, despite officials saying at a commissioners meeting last month that they plan to have a revised version ready for public reading. The Owen County Commissioners will meet next Monday, December 16th at 6 p.m. Well, lawyers are asking a federal judge to combine multiple lawsuits against milk distributor Fairlife and the owners of a northern Indiana dairy farm into a single class action suit. Consumers from several states filed lawsuits against Fair Oaks Farms, Fairlife, and Coca-Cola for consumer fraud after videos last summer showed alleged animal abuse at Fair Oaks. The suits allege the defendants failed to meet claims that animals were treated with care. The plaintiffs will file paperwork this week to find a lead counsel to represent all the lawsuits. State leaders are working with law enforcement in a southern Indiana county to help inmates fight drug addiction. As Brock Turner reports, Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill joined Scott County officials to launch the new program.
The Jail Chemical Addiction Program, or JCAP, comes from a $60,000 grant given to Scott County from the Office of Indiana's Attorney General. Inmates seeking recovery help will live in a separate pod of the jail, have a community that will help them with recovery, and go through a step-by-step program with a mental health professional. Sheriff Jerry Gooden says the support won't stop for inmates, even after they're released.
It's an intensive addiction therapy while they're serving their sentences in jail. They're actually not just sitting in jail doing nothing, they're actually getting training while they're in jail, exactly what jail should be for.
Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill says the program is already active in a few other jails across the state. The program has already lowered recidivism rates, in some cases by as much as 30%.
We want Indiana to be the toughest place to commit a crime, but the best place to get a second opportunity for success.
Scott County was one of the state's hardest hit areas by the opioid crisis. In 2015, the county experienced an HIV outbreak fueled in large part from the use of drugs. Then Governor Mike Pence declared a public health emergency, despite being against needle exchanges. It's estimated over 200 residents contracted HIV during the time frame. But the community still struggles with illegal drugs. Just last week, a pair of Scott County Sheriff's deputies were arrested on charges of illegally possessing steroids. The sheriff says he plans to hold everyone, even those in his own department, accountable. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Brock Turner.
Officials expect the program will be up and running by the first of the year. Well, Bloomington City officials hoping to slow radical change in the neighborhood designated the Near West Side as a conservation district this week. Work on the designation went into overdrive this year when the council considered allowing multifamily plexes in core neighborhoods. The neighborhood has historically been the side of town where African Americans live, but at-large council member Jim Sims reminded those at the meeting that wasn't necessarily by choice.
And they did move there, so I don't want to dispute that. But there were real estate agents that would not show houses to black people in other parts of the city. So that's the unwritten part.
A conservation district is less restrictive than a full historic district. Now that the Near West Side is officially a conservation district, it will become a full historic district after 3 years, unless a majority of homeowners object. Franklin residents concerned about rare child cancers in the area are now turning their attention to another polluted site. As Indiana Public Broadcasting's Rebecca Thiel reports, there's another plume of contaminated groundwater, and it has even higher levels of toxic chemicals than the old Emphenol site.
Businesses, a gymnastics center, and a cornfield all sit within the plume left by the old Hoagland tomato cannery in Franklin. State officials have known about the groundwater contamination for some time, but until last week, they didn't have enough data about the plume to map it out. Indiana Department of Environmental Management officials say it's unlikely that any of these businesses would get exposed to the pollution, either in the drinking water or the vapor from the water. The agency still plans to retest a few buildings in the area to confirm.
It's hard to grasp, and people want to go with feelings, but it's the data that tells you what's going on.
Davis was one of several environmental officials at an open house this week to answer residents' questions about the pollution in Franklin. Carrie Reinhardt with the group If It Was Your Child says it's hard to trust an agency that has known about this pollution for years and hasn't cleaned it up.
And we can't just smile and nod and accept everything we're told, because time and time again, the same agencies who have told us everything is fine, everything's taken care of, have been proven wrong.
Reinhardt says the agency has put out contradictory information that suggests it hasn't defined precisely where the contamination ends. If It Was Your Child says state and federal agencies also haven't figured out why cancer-causing chemicals were found at Franklin Elementary School, south of the old cannery site. IDEM officials say once the agency has investigated the area, it plans to clean up the polluted groundwater. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Rebecca Thiel.
Dirt is being moved, trees are coming down, and construction for the new State Road 46 railway overpass in Columbus is underway. Mayor Jim Linnop says about 90% of construction won't happen on existing roadways.
Now, there will be a few weeks during the summer after the fair when State Road 11 will be closed. There will be a time when traffic on 46 will be down to one lane.
Linnop says if the weather cooperates, the project should be finished in a year. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. Where you live can play a big role in the kind of health care you receive. Folks in rural areas have always faced issues getting to a doctor, and now insurers are making it even tougher to find an in-network provider. And as the city of Bloomington puts the final touches on its new rules for development, we look at a requirement for first-floor retail that has left some residents with an empty feeling. Those stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
The WTIU WFIU news team connects Indiana to the world. We bring you the top news of the day on radio, TV, and online. We round up the stories that have people talking each week and dig deep into the issues that affect your community the most. The WTIU WFIU news team is where you are and telling your story.
In a time of change, where can you find in-depth reporting and thoughtful analysis? Washington Week on PBS. Join moderator Robert Costa.
When I was at the Capitol this week, I encountered the same.
And a panel of award-winning journalists.
You're seeing a divided nation, and you're seeing
for insights and perspective.
Tonight there was a key development in the
Senate. You won't find anywhere else.
What a week.
Washington Week.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. The Bloomington City Council is just weeks away from adopting the amended Unified Development Ordinance. One of the changes being made to the zoning code reduces requirements for ground floor retail space downtown. For this week's City Limits question, Mitch Legan tried to figure out what's with all those empty storefronts.
The holiday shopping season is officially in full force, but if you're shopping around downtown Bloomington, you're bound to pass some storefronts that don't have stores in them. That's led resident Wolfgang von Buchler to ask, if nobody's in these spaces now, why does the city keep requiring them? He asked City Limits to find out.
I just feel like the city has never really explained itself, and I'd like to know why, and how successful is it?
According to Bloomington senior zoning planner Eric Grulich, the city first began pushing for stores, offices, and other commercial uses on the ground floors of new developments back in 2007. Which was the last time Bloomington overhauled its zoning code or Unified Development Ordinance.
The desire when we updated the zoning code in 2007 was twofold. One, to have active ground floor space by requiring commercial space on the ground floor. And two, we didn't want properties in our commercial corridors being developed completely with apartments.
Before then, developers had begun building large apartment complexes downtown tailored to students. Officials wanted to maintain downtown as a center of economic activity and have buildings that people could interact with, rather than just stark apartment complexes. But the 2007 UDO led to an oversupply of storefronts that sit vacant, so the city is addressing it in the new UDO.
We've been more specific in the new zoning code of identifying, other than just overlay districts, but even more focused on these are the streets and corridors that we want ground floor.
The new proposed ordinance shrinks the total area that requires ground floor commercial units and focuses it more around downtown.
It's not perfect. We haven't figured it out exactly, but I think we
are trying to achieve a level of livability and pedestrian friendliness. And you know, and sometimes the pendulum swings too far and you got to bring it back over, which we're trying to do, and trying to find that middle ground.
Grulich says though some spaces are still empty, the city decided to keep the requirement because more commercial units create more opportunities for potential business owners to take a chance and open something up.
You know, if you've only got 5 commercial spaces in the city to choose from, the cost of renting those spaces is going to be pretty high. If you've got 500 spaces to choose from, the cost of those is going to be lower, so it helps small business owners a lot more because they've got a smaller startup cost to get into these spaces.
Crowley says the city is partnering with Downtown Bloomington Inc. and Indiana University to study Bloomington retail this spring. The project will give the city a better idea of how many empty storefronts there actually are in Bloomington and the best way to fill those units.
There's no silver bullet. Not one thing is going to suddenly like fill up all the retail spaces and we're going to be done. It's going to be sort of a case by case. We're going to have to cobble together different solutions. So my hope is in the next year or so we might have some interesting either trials or actual implementations in place.
If all goes according to plan, the Bloomington City Council will pass the UDO and the new ground floor policies in about 2 weeks. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Mitch Legan.
Our City Limits series answers the questions you want to know about the Bloomington community. You can join the conversation and submit your questions by going to indianapublicmedia.org/citylimits. Thousands of Hoosiers rely on the Affordable Care Act for their health insurance, and in rural communities, it's not functioning as originally intended. Reporter Brock Turner has more on a troubling trend.
For Jim Dillinger, health insurance is personal.
I told my wife, I don't even know how we're going to afford this, and that was the first time we had to really decide, were we going to carry insurance or not.
In 2014, Dillinger says the out-of-pocket costs from a routine hip replacement surgery soaked up about 40% of his annual income. Paired with the rising premiums he was already paying, Dillinger says he seriously considered not carrying health insurance.
That was our biggest fear. We didn't know because the next year it was supposed to jump again, and I told my wife, I don't even know how we're going to afford this.
Dillinger eventually decided to enroll in an insurance plan through the Affordable Care Act. His yearly salary made him eligible for a subsidy to help make the plan more affordable.
We joined it the very first year it became available. We were on private insurance before that, and it was just eating up our costs so much. Our premiums, the last year that I was on private insurance, our premiums was 25% of my total income.
Dillinger admits he was hesitant, though. He lived in Europe as a child and says he saw lengthy procedure wait times. That and critiques grounded in politics aren't uncommon in this small, markedly conservative community 100 miles north of Indianapolis.
I know one friend, just because of politics, won't even try the ACA because he disagrees completely with the politics of it. So they have their own, private program.
But the problems associated with the Affordable Care Act aren't limited to just perception. A study from the Rural Health Research and Policy Centers, along with the Rural Policy Research Institute, shows in the past 4 years there's been a noticeable shift in the way the healthcare marketplace functions. The study authors write, data began to show signs of weakening insurer participation, especially in rural counties and in states that did not implement Medicaid expansion. While every Indiana county has at least one provider, rural communities generally have fewer options, and that can lead to higher average premiums for residents. Indiana's Office of Insurance declined an interview for this story, stating plans from 2 providers, CareSource and Celtic, were available in all 92 counties. But that's not the full story. Many insurance providers haven't expanded their networks to include local hospitals. CareSource, for example, offers a plan in Fulton County, but the local hospital and many local physicians are not in their coverage network. That's something one of the few remaining insurance agents in Fulton County has witnessed firsthand. Kendra Chudzinski was born and raised here. While she doesn't make much, if anything, writing these plans, she says she continues to write these policies as a public service.
I see people at the grocery store. People text me on the weekends and at night and say, I need to come in and see you about my health insurance. I like that. I like being needed, and I like helping people, and I like them knowing that they can count on me.
Chudzinski says the process can be complicated, and the majority of people struggle to understand which policy best fits their needs.
I have a lot of people say to me, well, I don't want that Obamacare. I hope this isn't Obamacare. And I have to say, well, that's not what we call it, and that's, but that's what you're getting, and you're getting a nice subsidy in it. And if it wasn't for this, you wouldn't even be able to get health insurance.
And that's why many proponents of the Affordable Care Act say while the marketplace might not be functioning as originally intended, it's better than the alternative. Hospitals, for example, receive more compensation for services under the ACA than they do for patients on Medicaid, but that's still less than private insurance plans. While crafting the right healthcare policy can get complicated quickly, there's one point that nearly everyone can agree on. The system can be improved.
People shouldn't have to go broke paying for medication, and they shouldn't have to go without in our society. I think we can do better than that. The trick is figuring out what is that better.
But for now, he and thousands of Hoosiers will have to choose from the current plans and coverage options available on the marketplace. The open enrollment period runs from now until December 11th. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Brock Turner.
That's the end of this program, but our work continues online at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Mallard Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.